Alright, now that we've joined all these computers to our domain, what are we going to do with them? In this lesson, we're going to talk about how to use Active Directory group policy to configure computers and the domain itself. Like we mentioned before, directory services are databases that are used to store information about objects. The objects represent things in your network that you want to be able to reference or manage. One of these object types in AD is Group Policy Object, or GPO. What's a GPO? It's a set of policies and preferences that can be applied to a group of objects in the directory. GPOs contain settings for computers and user accounts. You may want different software preferences for the marketing team, the legal team, and the engineering team. Using group policy would help standardize the user preferences for each of these teams and help make it more manageable for you to configure. Using group policies, you can create login and logoff scripts and apply them to users and computers. You can configure the event log, telling the computer what events should be logged and where the logs should be sent. You can say how many times someone can enter the wrong password before their account is locked. You can install software that you want to be available and block software that you don't want to run. You heard the boss. And this is just the beginning. You can create as many group policy objects as you want, but they don't do anything until they're linked to domains, sites, or OUs. When you link a GPO, all of the computers or users under that domain, site, or OU will have that policy applied. You can use other tools like security filtering and WMI filters to make group policies apply more selectively. We'll get into that a bit. A group policy object can contain computer configuration, user configuration, or both. These are applied at different times. Computer configuration is applied when the computer signs into the Active Directory domain. This will happen each time the computer boots into Windows, unless it's disconnected from the network at the time it's booted up. User configuration is applied when a user account is logged onto the computer. In each case, once a GPO is in effect, it's checked and enforced every few minutes. Remember when I said that GPOs contain policies and preferences? What's the difference? Policies are settings that are reapplied every few minutes and aren't meant to be changed even by the local administrators. By default, policies in the GPO will be reapplied on the machine every 90 minutes. This ensures that computers on the network don't drift from the configuration that system administrators define for them. Group policy preferences, on the other hand, are settings that, in many cases, are meant to be a template for settings. System administrators will choose settings that should be the default on computers that apply the GPO. But someone using the computer can change the settings from what's defined in the policy, and that change won't be overwritten. How do domain-joined computers actually get their GPOs? When a domain-joined computer or user signs into the domain by contacting a domain controller, that domain controller gives the computer a list of group policies that it should apply. The computer then downloads those policies from a special folder called sysvol that's exported as a network share from every domain controller. This folder is replicated between all of the domain controllers and can also contain things like login and logoff scripts. Once the computer has downloaded its GPOs, it applies them to the computer. We won't get into too much detail about the sysvol folder, but I've included links to more information in the next reading. Lastly, many policies and preferences in GPOs are represented as values in the Windows registry. The Windows registry is a hierarchical database of settings that Windows and many Windows applications use for storing configuration data. The GPO is applied by making changes to the registry. The Windows operating system and Windows applications read the registry settings to determine what their behavior should be. You can read more about the Windows registry in the supplemental reading. Group policy management is another huge topic. We'll only cover the basics of it in this course. Now that you understand a little bit about what group policy objects are, let's dig in and see how you use them to manage Active Directory and AD joined computers.